He was really not a nice person to play against. He made life very difficult for the opposition. So whoever plays against him, yeah, good luck.
So week 2 of the Dream Team, and I'm more surprised that the Cape Townians, Juicy, have made it down here. You know, it's hard to get these guys up. I mean, yes, maybe it's because the rain put the guys up.
Yeah.
But week 2, Rick, Robbie, Juicy,
what's happening?
how are the lads feeling?
Fired up to be here. Fired up to be here. We did actually try to get it away from the rain. We spoke about it on the way up here. It's because of the rain, not just because I wanted to spend time with you, Cooks.
They're just settling for us. But I mean, what a weekend. Boxes fully in. I mean, Robbie with the stadium, Ricky at Spur. Before you go to Robbie and Ricky, Juicy, where did you watch the game?
I think I'm the only person that didn't watch the game this weekend.
Excuse me?
I'm joking. But the location wasn't, out there. But I watched it at 86 Republic. Great atmosphere, great vibe. But
86 atmosphere is at a club.
It's a restaurant.
Is that where the barbers train when they're based in Joburg?
It's a restaurant. They set up a nice screen there. I mean, they have a nice upstairs area as well in case you want to catch the sunset and take some selfies.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? So wonderful place to watch a rugby game, actually. So we were pre-judging there as well. It was really nice.
So one of the SuperSport partner venues. But Rob, you were at the stadium.
At the stadium.
You were there live. You and your brother. How was it?
Very special, eh? How nice is that? We braved the rain. But to be fair, atmosphere and vibe, going in waterfront, it sort of turned into a whole bunch of like a fan park. It was really, really cool. Everyone was standing around. Cape Town was green and gold on Saturday. It was actually unbelievable. And then at the game, we braved the rain it was a period of like 10 minutes actually where it was raining. And I thought, okay, I can stop now. I'm trying to play a game of rugby. But it was really nice. And obviously nice to be there with my boot. Those are the things you cherish, eh? Watching the box.
The thing is, there's nothing like watching the box when the Qatar Airways Cup. We're the only ones who won it.
Prestigious. Our trophy.
I know. I'm hoping if they're going to put it within the World Cup, you get the number of wins. When you put the number of Qatar Airways Cups.
And maybe planes.
Yes.
3 planes, right?
It means 3.
And there will be a lot of them.
Yeah, we got all of them. Even though we played all of them, but we got all of them. Rex, you're at Spur, which is fitting because you spoke about in 95 that you watched the final at Spurs. It's also the 30th anniversary of the 95 final at Spurs. So you're reminiscing with grade 8 and you're at the same Spur. Was it the same Spur you were working at?
It wasn't the same Spur. But what a full circle moment. I think it was just wonderful to see. It was rainy. We all know it was rainy, cold in Cape Town, but just so wonderful to see people come out in their numbers, everyone wearing green and gold.
Yeah.
And we'll be doing this SuperSport partner venue for the whole incoming series where you can just get together, that unity. Sure. And I think it's all at Spur, if I'm not mistaken. So lekker full circle moment. Warrior combo that was on the...
Yeah, the warrior combo, but also there were quite a few dance moves there. There's videos were taken.
Excuse me?
There were videos taken.
It wasn't supposed to leave the WhatsApp group.
You got to be careful what you post.
Yes.
I actually wanted to ask you guys, didn't anyone have some deep eat? Because my knees are still feeling it.
Hey.
For Unk. Juicy, can you rate those dance moves?
Listen, I'm giving him an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
My brother, you were moving.
Unk's moving.
Ricky, also, whose birthday was it?
Listen, there were birthdays going on every 30 seconds. I was thinking we were cheering for the box, but every 30 seconds you just hear a birthday song and the sparkles. But no, it was lekker. The family environment. We could sense the Bok leef. It was on fire there in Cape Town.
Oh, Robbie. I mean, Ricky, I love the fact that your stories. The float's still the same, though, eh? The float?
The Coke float, yes. That was, I was watching Scala having his beers. I was high on a sugar rush after drinking all those Coke floats, bro. It was intense, but lekker. Really enjoyed it.
Last week was fantastic because the Bok, the new kit, was released on Wednesday. Robbie got the kit. The sports was open at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
At 5 past, Robbie had already posted content of him in the... So tell me, were you personally unveiling the boxes for the people, for the kit? I mean, look at...
So this is actually an undercover campaign that we were running. But okay, so 9, I got there very early. But there's a story behind it because I wanted to get my size. So a couple of weeks ago, World Test Championship final, Proteas are playing. And I've decided, okay, well, I'm going to buy a Protea. I'm fully behind. I'm actually telling South Africa, like, I'm disappointed, you're not behind the Proteas. So I went to go buy it, Sportsman's. And I get there and I'm sort of like flicking through like the sizes. I'm genuinely a large. And I'm flicking through and I grab a large in the change room. I'm there with my missus. So I go to the change room and I walk out of the changing rooms and this large is fitting on love handles. and you know, that's
It's the love
you know what the
handles
best
for
part
me.
about it is? I'm not surprised. Like, I know that it's winter. Like, I can see. I've watched the scale go up. And then, but it's that look in your missus' face. Like, when I started dating you, you were a large, not a you're not fitted into a large. I then had to go XL. Wow. So anyway, the point of the story is I've then gone, I need to get my size because I need to get one that fits proper. And I've actually ended up buying an XL, which fits like a 3XL on me. So
Can you hold that first?
Yeah.
Is it past the love handles?
Yeah, I'm protected, I'm fully protected, yeah.
You've got, that's for winter. It's got a 90.
Do you know, it's funny because on Saturday I had the option of wearing this over my jacket.
But you were the first one in Cape Town
I was,
to
yeah.
have that box jersey.
Yeah, I was.
I think in the country, I mean, there's not even checking numbers. I mean,
listen.
guys, I just saw Robbie at 9:05 I'm like, with the jersey in his head. I'm like, Robbie, you've edited, you posted, you've got the jersey, you've gone home. I'm like,
You gotta
when?
operate.
Tuesday, are you getting one?
And I think it's what I saw with that as well, with the content. Orobi came from the back, the storage. You understand? He wasn't at the front there where we normally get
Checking
the-
out.
Do you understand? They probably called him at the back and said, Robbie, please come to the
Yeah.
back. You are VIP. Let's give
Well,
you a
I
jersey.
wasn't Rondebosch. I didn't call me the Mayor of Cape Town.
Last
Then the Mayor of Cape Town, you can get a Springbok jersey
week
early.
was porous. Now it's Rodney Boy. I mean, every school is going to get some love, but we are here for a reason.
Yeah.
It is the dream team. Week 2, we're on hookers now. And the people at home, we do want them to be involved. So every game week, for the next 15 game weeks, we want the people at home to decide who is in their dream team. We will announce 5 nominees. There's a QR code people can scan and make their votes. I mean, we all made our votes last week.
Yeah.
And now we're finally on to hookers. And it's exciting to say we finally have our first member
Sure.
of the dream team. And he's the only person that only one person that got it right, and that was Ricky. Os du Randt. With over 50% of the votes. And Ricky, since you called it, wise man experience, I mean, the nation got it right.
Why I got it right?
Yes, tell us why.
Well,
And the nation.
the nation. I think Os has really sort of laid the mark of what a loosehead should be.
like,
Pioneered the way. I think we mentioned the comeback king. A lot of people, it resonates with him, that heartfelt story of this man that gave so much for the Bok jersey. And I think, like we mentioned, number 1 on the field, number 1 in the people's hearts. That's why.
So now, with Ricky getting it right, I mean, we were all wrong. So now you basically, you're number one in the show so far. Captain.
Number 1 on the leaderboard. Number 1 on the leaderboard.
Number 1 on the leaderboard.
Okay.
But you guys have been calling me Unc, so I mean.
I was going to say, he watched a lot of Os.
Yes.
He watched a lot of Os. So
You watched me in Craven Week as well.
Yeah.
Man.
Guys, come on.
That's how you got it right.
Amtala is very old.
But it's exciting. I mean, like we do have our first member
Yeah.
of our dream team. That means that we're on the road. But talking about being on the road, there was a certain prop we saw running up hills. Other one was hitting scrum machines on a farm, Don's farm.
Yeah.
Juicy, would you like to spend a week at Don's farm? Because hey, it's tight there. It's tough there.
No, listen. I mean, looking at those visuals, hey, they put him to work. You know, I mean, apparently he even lost 18 kgs.
18. We need the videos
18
to prove. Look there.
Maybe I'll fit into my Proteas jumper if I go to the farm.
Look at your vessels. Look at the technique.
Guys,
Too nice, eh? Look at that.
All right.
Robin, my question is that on Don's farm? Like, how do you get a scrum machine on your farm?
Do you know what I'm thinking? So I'm putting myself in that position now. If Don calls me, he goes, Robbie, week at the farm, yes, no. I've rocked up with a cooler box and bright tongs.
No, but
And it's like basically arriving at practice, you know, at school, and the coach goes, don't worry, you don't need any boots today, just running. I can imagine that's the feeling. You've rocked up thinking you're going to go for a week on the farm.
I think Rassie called it Kamp Staldan.
Yeah.
That's what he called it, Kamp Staldan, eh? Oh,
I mean, look at
no,
that.
that's that.
Yeah,
oh,
it's
that's
so
But I think it's also, I just really feel like it's a really nice place for you to lock in. There's no distractions, you know, after probably your
Are
session.
you sure you want to use the word nice? Do you think? I don't think they are going through nice experiences right there.
Okay, not practically there, but I'm just saying, you know, in a sense of, you know, if you really just want to lock in, zone out of all the distractions,
Okay.
you know,
Do
maybe
you say
take like
scram in the morning and then
you know,
listen to the sounds of the sheep in the afternoon and take it all in. Where's my career? Where's my
you know,
technique?
when you want to go to the dark places, you know, you want to be a Ricky Balboa, you know, he has to go, you know, for like a while, go to Canada, dance in the snow for a bit, you know what I mean, and come back and win a championship. I mean, that if you want to be the best, I think one of the things that you need to do.
My question with Don's farm is there's a few clips with Asanati, obviously, with the sheeps. And so do you have to also do farm work as well?
I was waiting for that.
Did Don convince him that in order to scram well, you must do some farm work? It's for technique.
Deadlift a couple of sheep. Put them on. Yeah.
Well, that was the rent. That is the rent. That
Yeah, that's a,
you're living at Don's place for free, gymming at his gym. You got to pay some rent.
but you must. Do you think the guys left there with, you know, just a leg of lamb? Jay, come on.
Definitely.
Hopefully, yeah.
A leg of lamb.
Compensation.
Compensation. A leg of lamb, man.
You've earned it. Not just take sack. Do you understand? Take your cow. Maybe taking cows there as well. That's why he was probably bulldozing there with the shoulders.
I wonder what Coach Don would have done if you rocked up in your denim on denim there
Yo.
on the floor.
You would have flipped. You know?
Yeah?
No.
Why do you think I have my plus bike on here?
No, Coach, I mean, if Sia would have, I don't think he would have thrived because Coach Don would have seen the denim on denim and said, no, buddy, this is why.
Maybe not.
Back in the garage, please hit the machine. No cell phones because he gets distracted with phone calls. So no cell phones for Juicy, just him.
I'm sure he'd be very irritated with me. Like, hey, coach, listen, can I just have my phone? Just
No tripods.
First rule of Kamp Staldan.
content.
My favorite thing is there's no 4K 16 in Don's footage. It's just
Pixelated. Shot in portrait mode, not even.
I must say it was a great week for. I mean, Asnadi Tlabaganya, but it was a tough week for the Lions conditioning coach because why is Asnadi using 18 kgs on Don's farm? What is he doing with the But a tough week for him.
This is another one.
A tough week for him, but guys, we do have to get the hookers in your position. And I'm going to announce the 5.
Come on.
Please do.
The nominations
Give it to us.
to see who's going to be
Give it to us hot.
in the dream team, potentially. Are you guys ready?
Alala.
First one, top dog, Bongi Bonambi.
Oh, sure.
Our second hooker, Bismarck Duplessis.
Too nice. It's too nice.
A man who scored on the weekend, Malcolm Marx.
Bye.
Legendary captain, John Smith.
Statesman.
My leader.
Legendary is
My
the word.
leader.
And then the bullet, James Dalton, 95 winner.
Yeah.
That's a strong group of hookers.
Quality.
You look at all of them, all World Cup winners. So it's not like it is like last week Shane Polka throws the
yeah.
tough. But now it's these 5 hookers, they all
It's even playing field.
even playing field. They've all touched ball.
Sure.
Guys, I look at those 5. What are your first thoughts, Juicy, when I name those hookers?
Listen, again, a very tough pool to choose from. You know, we've got really good quality here. You know, I mean, and also wonderful memories from all of them. Do you know what I mean? Even though I don't have the memory of the bullet, I promise you, it's the first time I'm like, okay, God. Someone must not ask me about who this person is because.
You also don't want to meet the bullet in a dark alley, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you met the bullet in the dark alley?
Yeah, I almost came second, but it didn't materialize. He was nice at
We
least.
saw the 95 World Cup,
The Canada game.
the bell of the boat.
Yeah.
And Rick, you those 5 hookers. I mean, what are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, I think a brilliant balance of. We mentioned about Bullet, about James Dalton, sort of the epitome of what a hooker should be. That grunt, that mongrel, that fighter. Not necessarily fighting, but you want that in your number 2. That mongrel. Malcolm Bongi very closely contested, and then obviously the era of John Smith. I mentioned he's a statesman, our leader, and then Bismarck. Oh, this is going to be a tough one. Eh?
Yeah.
It's not as I'm having conflict within my spirit here on who I'm going to choose.
Rob?
for my hooker.
I agree. I've rocked up here and I've not known. Last week I had an idea, obviously because I played paddle kitty. That was the whole thing. I would have chosen Os, but no. I rock up here and I go, I actually don't know. Like I'm so excited to hear what cooks you guys have to say, so that it can actually make my mind up for me. Because I actually don't know. I look at it and I go, I couldn't tell you. I actually couldn't tell you one right now.
No, it is tough. I mean, you talk about balance. You talk about Jones Dalton being the old school hooker, and we're going to speak about how the position has changed from. It feels like when in Dalton's era to hookers now, the ask is different. Because everyone wants to be a Dane Coles, or you get the hybrids like Malcolm Marx who does both. I spent some time at hooker.
Okay, here we go.
The first time.
Here we go.
This is the how not to play hooker. So the first time I'd ever played rugby, first time I was on a 9, coach convinced me to come to practice, said, listen, come and join, and we're going to put you at hooker. And I was coming from Johannesburg, I was staying in Gqeberha. I was a soccer guy.
Okay.
You want to make me a rugby guy?
Okay.
No,
Goalkeeper.
just striker. This is my entire lethal up front, not much running. So actually, it was fitting for my rugby career. So anyway, you put me at hooker, and one thing about me, I love to snack. So I had 2 packets of biscuits here. You buy 4 Maori biscuits. I mean, lemon creams for 2 rand, you get 4. So I had 1 here, 1 here. 2 pockets, so I needed 4 here, 4 here.
Feel ya.
So then, called a scrum, and in my mind, I didn't know it was a scrum at the stage, and I said, I wonder why we must rest while holding each other. So when scrum time, I thought, okay, we're resting. So I somehow managed to unbind myself. Stood there, the ball was fed, and the ball was sitting underneath. I was like, it's a break, and I was sitting here like,
Yeah, man, cooks.
eating my biscuits. And the coach is shouting, guys, where's the ball? So it's stuck on Kutle's foot. So what's he doing? Is like he must hook. He's like he's eating. And I turned up, and the coach like, Cookies, come here.
And that's where.
And then Cookie came. Then Cooks came.
That's your
all,
nickname.
all because I could not play hooker.
He was resting. He was resting in the scrum.
Yeah. And to be fair, I moved to flank and did the same thing. But
That's what it's become, right?
minus the eating. So that's why I was like, my time at hooker was short-lived. But guys, we've seen the position change. Like I say, James Dalton era. We didn't necessarily want hooker to be running out wide or floating. Just grunt, mongrel. You look at like the Malcolm Marx now, at the back, running mauls, but again, fetching. John Smith's probably also one of the typical modern old school hookers in Bismarck. I mean, Bismarck's Bismarck and Bongi. So, Robbie, when you look at the position, Rick, when you look at the position, where the changes have you seen at hooker?
First of all, fundamentals. First things first.
It's still here though.
It's still find your
throwing,
jumpers at test level, and test level means fingertips. So really being accurate with your lineouts, and then like you don't do what Cooks did. You must hit the ball at scrum time. But I think how it has evolved, the hooker position is they've become a loose forward, another loose forward on the field, chasing breakdowns, disrupting. I mean, the amount of balls Malcolm Marx has stolen at the breakdown would put a lot of loose forwards to shame. Just getting over that ball, low body gravity, low body weight, supporting the body weight. So it's really, they are sort of leading the pack with a work rate. I mean, Juicy mentioned something last week about the spine of the team. That's where it starts up front. But the hooker position, number 2, has really evolved over the years.
I'll talk about Malcolm Marx. You know, he played last week. The first of the guys we've seen, obviously, was Ox as well. But you look at Malcolm Marx, you know, he's got the most tries as a forward in South African history. Like, when I play the first clip of Malcolm here, showing what he does, and it just shows, Juicy, what hookers are asked to do now. They're asked to do more than just throw and hook.
Oh, that was a wonderful try.
And I could finish that.
And I feel like you saw it coming.
Yeah.
Because immediately, look at that. Immediately when the guys went in for that maul, he just knew. Like he would just look at him. He just quickly goes back. He knew it was coming. There's no way he was stopping from there as well.
I also think that record speaks to our dominance as a South African side with our pack. In his era, we've just been so dominant.
It's just a simple 2-on-1 point pass, and the big hooker goes over in the.
We normally see Malcolm Marx also at the back of a mall. You think it's harder? You think it's probably easier for him to drive a mall than to drive his car, because I mean the Bok mall is it's not.
And Malcolm loves his cars, eh?
Exactly.
He loves his cars. No, I think Malcolm, we speak about the anticipation of Malcolm. I remember at the Lions when when we were playing, got to play with him. He was still a 19, 20-year-old kid.
Probably the same size. Eh?
Yeah, no, even bigger. And we all were like flabbergasted. And I mean, Malcolm was competing with technical guys, Robbie Kutsia, Akker van der Merwe, the Warthog at the Lions at the time. But Malcolm never stopped working. I mean, there were times Akker's called us in. You train with the Super Rugby team at the start of throughout the week, and then the Akkers calls you in. Guys, you need to go down to Vodacom Cup, get some game time there. Malcolm's attitude never changed. He was always that working hard, last to leave the gym, and we always tuned him and his best friend Carl Brink, also a loose forward. They were the boys from the deep south, so they had that grunt and attitude. But Malcolm, a wonderful nominee for this category as well as a part of the dream team.
And Robbie's come a long way as well, Malcolm. He was that youngster that guys couldn't wait to see him, and then sort of now almost with him Bongi fighting for that number 2 jersey, where going into 2019 Bongi sort of wrestled the number 2 jersey from him, and then now he's gone into one of the best players players in the world, and and one of the leaders in that box side now.
Yeah. And what I like about Malcolm is he's so reliable. Like, if Malcolm's playing, you're probably 90% of your lineouts are won. He's scoring a try clearly because he's got the record. And absolute human red light. So you don't get past him, you don't get through him. And it's been a privilege to watch him, as you say, Cooks, evolve into the player he is now. And that battle between Bongi and Marx for that jersey has just been such a pleasure to watch, because it's been over cycles of World Cups. And that longevity, as I was saying earlier, I think speaks to the class of the Springbok side and the dominance of our forwards, which has been now the recipe for our success, let's be honest.
And I mean, gentlemen, we talk about the competition between him and Bongi, right? I think we underestimate or not really rate the competition in that hooker position in the past couple of years as well. Because I know Bismarck and John Smith as well, they were at it. Do you know what I mean? They were just like...
It's the nation, that one.
They were at it. So it speaks on like this position that you said, the spine. Because when we look at trying to select a squad, again, as I said, you look at that spine and you look at the crucial positions, right? Yeah, we always talk about, okay, who's competing for the number 10 jersey, but the hookers, bro, the competition there is very tight. And the guys actually go at each other. Do you know what I mean? You might think they really despise each other, but it's just how the competition builds, such players.
And what a thing to be a young hooker in the box setup at the moment, getting to learn from Bongi and Marx. Think about that. That is just like...
Yeah.
And they've got quite a bit of rugby in
Einstein and studs,
But you're actually like, these guys aren't going anywhere anytime soon. But I mean, also Malcolm, great golfer, plays at a fantastic course, Royal Johannesburg, my home course as well. That's where you get good character. That's where the guys go. But I want to talk about Bongi Monambi, Malcolm's partner, and it's so funny because there's a stage I think we could easily say even now that we have the best 2 hookers in the world, and they're fighting for each other for a spot, and obviously the bottom squad sort of came through, and then now it feels like the Springboks got the best of both worlds. And what you look at, Malcolm, obviously you look at his groundwork and his try scoring ability, but Bongi, more old school hooker, top dog, respected and loved in that change room. The clip of Bongi, we look at him at Chasing the Sun, the way Rassi speaks about him, and I think it speaks volumes on the character of the man.
Rassi giving him a side eye there.
That emotion. It's pressure. If you haven't been Springbok captain, and how you're doing it at the World Cup stage, I just think that's how much he took it upon himself to really try and help us, prove us that he can do it, and that we made the right choice, and that, oh man, thank you for backing me like this.
Oof. Sure. Robbie, Ricky, you speak about... I don't know why for example, I've called Ricky Robbie 3 times. It's just, I apologize.
Cape Townians, eh?
Yeah, all the same to me. Spends 1 weekend in one city. Sorry, Rose. Sorry, Rick. Rick, but you talk about full circle. You mentioned it. Remember when Bongi started? He had that guy, unfortunately, got pulled off early in 2018 in the first half. Then you got to look 2023. He's captaining the Springboks, and it just shows the story of the man, is the character, and how important he has become in that box setup.
Can I start off by saying, I hated playing against Bongi. I absolutely hated. Why? Because he didn't stop. He was like a battering ram all the time. And I played against him at provincial level, at under 19, under 21, at Varsity Cup. He didn't stop. I'll never forget under 19, we played against him in the final, Province versus the Bulls. And he comes with that head down. We saw what he did with Eben's leg last time. And Bongi runs in. And I was in the tackle. They just closed my eyes and threw down. And then I was like, I told Nizam, I think, and Kobus Porter at the time, they were our flankers. I said, Maak seker, I kom nie weer nie. Make sure he doesn't come again. Lo and behold, Bongi says, feed me the ball again. He comes running in again. And his type of play.
Is that when you went in the boot, you're like, guys, I'm going in the boot?
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I'm out, I'm covering the blind side. I'm defending on the blind. But I mentioned it's tough playing against him, but you speak about his tenacity and that of never giving up.
Yes.
It says in his play, it says in his character, in his nature, and he was really not a nice person to play against. He made life very difficult for the opposition. So whoever plays against him, yeah, good luck.
You can feel like, they call him the top dog. And he does have that proper intimidating presence when he's on. I remember the clip of him coming on the bench in the Qatar Airways Cup, the first 21 against the All Blacks. And Rassie was putting on the bomber squad, and you see Bongi just putting on that spray, and you're just like, why is he so psyched up, this guy?
Just putting on spray and there's intent already.
Listen, gents, just a quick one. You're like looking at the clip, and obviously how they've let us into the world like that. We're chasing the sun, right? And you're looking at that clip, and you're seeing a Bongi Banambi in tears. Right, I think for me it translates to even more than just rugby. If you get what I'm saying, we are in the end of Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, right? And I feel like what we see every weekend, right, is the finished product, right? A very polished finished product, and we're just like loving what we see. But then the sacrifices made, the dark places that you probably have to go through to even get to that place where now you are a Springbok and there's all this, maybe let's say pressure, all that. I feel like for me, that moment for him was like a release of also that I've sacrificed so much. And I've been given a chance. And that's what I like about the Springboks now. It's how also emotionally intelligent everyone is in the squad. Do you know what I mean? And be like, hey, bro, like, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
Where Rassie is just more than just not a rugby coach where he's coaching you to become a rugby player, but it's like, bro, I see you. So I think that for me, like, I was like, damn, it touches me in a very different way. And for me, it's more than just rugby. Do you know what I mean? It's even deeper.
No, I mean, that's amazing. It's juicy.
Juicy steering up.
You're making us emotional.
No, because listen, I think let me just quickly tell you guys a story, right? I think when my sort of like rugby also sort of like got much better in 2022, my coach, what's his name now again?
Coach.
Yeah,
Coach. Just call him Coach.
No. So David Meidzer. Not David Meidzer, sorry. David Manuel. Sorry.
Tough time to be David Meidzer. You're going to get shut out and it gets taken away from you.
No, David Manuel. I think I have to say his name right, because what he did, right, in a very tough environment where we couldn't even see ourselves winning one game in the upcoming season, like what he did was he didn't coach us only just to be good physically on the field. He went internal. And in that moment, I had realized that vulnerability is also a strength. Because if I can deal with my internal self, right, the physical just sort of like becomes easier to deal with. There was underlying issues that I had to deal with that I didn't know because I was keeping everything out of the carpet. The moment I got to a point where I could talk to my teammate and be like, bro, I'm dealing with A, B, C, D, and be vulnerable with them, right? We create a bond where it supersedes what we're doing on the field.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So I feel like, for me, that clip, that's what I'm saying. It's just bringing back a whole lot of things. And like,
And how did you guys do that season?
We did not so good.
So
But-
you didn't dive deep enough then.
No. We just not so good, but we actually won a very crucial game on our home field in front of our home supporters, right? Because I was in that system for longer than most of the guys that were there. So in the space of 2 years, that's the only game I won. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But the thing is also speaking on my individual performance, right? I was more confident in myself. I could go to my coach and be like, listen, this is my insecurity. I'm scared to do this. But you know what that does is it makes my teammates and my coach know, okay, let's help Sia here. Let's help him conquer this fear of not being able to. Do you understand? Because my issue also was like, I'm a big guy. But then when it comes to me tackling, not that I'm afraid to tackle, but I don't finish it off. Listen, I'll make my tackle.
Love it. Gets to justify. I'm not afraid. It was technique.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll make my tackle, but I won't finish it off. My coach would say, see how you're soft.
Sure.
Like, not that, like, I'm soft inside. Because of the things I was really running from. The moment I could deal with those things, then I could look myself in the mirror and be like, you know what? Today, I'm going.
Let's go.
Come on now. I mean, you speak about leadership, like he's from his coach. When we think of leadership, especially with those hookers, only one name comes to mind, that's John Smith.
John Smith.
You know, a World Cup winner.
Yeah.
A guy who's probably captain both sides as he's played in. And we remember with Assad, he took over in 2004 after the World Cup in 2003. A tough World Cup, but Rob, you mentioned earlier, like a statesman in John Smith. But I mean, what a career and what a leader.
That was my childhood, John Smith. When I think Springboks, I think John Smith leading teams out with legends beside him. You think like Skalkberger, Vic Matfield.
It's big personalities.
Yeah, huge. And he led those individuals into a team that won a World Cup in 2007. For me, John Smith, that's my childhood generally. Springboks, when I think Springboks, my childhood, John Smith. Proteas, Graham Smith. Those two are my leaders in childhood.
And Rick, the thing about Barney and John Smith is sometimes the people forget how good of a rugby player he was.
Yeah.
Because they speak about the leadership and they used him obviously running out in the front and the incredible captain he is. But I mean, he had the skills that pays the bills. I mean, like if you look at his clip here, I mean, this is skills. There's no leadership needed here.
No. Oh, he's. Oof. Of course, Monestein breaks the line.
Pick up.
You know how many times I try to reenact that? And it never worked. Look at this.
And then,
That's fingertip stuff.
That's like going for a burger at a bar, you know. It's like you grab it.
that's fingertips and then transfer and then carry. Wow, man, technique.
And the thing is, he's actually looking at the ball. Like, I don't know if you saw that pass and the ball is like, you saw the tip of the ball, he's looking at it, it's just like, Izapa. That was amazing, bro.
No, I mean, look at John Smith. I mean, like, it's so fitting. And I think the way, like, because, you know, the journey is, I mean, the guys was competing against. I mean, we mentioned, you get the Pongi and you got Malcolm, but you look at John Smith's partner in crime, Bismarck du Plessis. When I mentioned, for example, like, it's put the nation because half the time the guys wanted John Smith the same guys like, but Bismarck, the young bull needed a chance. I mean,
Because every time he came on the field, he made maracas, for lack of a better word. But he really, I mean, Bismarck came up, he was explosive. But it was that calmness, that leadership of John Smith that sort of laid that foundation initially. I mean, he's one of the most decorated captains, more than a 70% pass rate or winning rate with the box. So British and Irish Lions, World Cups,
Tri-Nations.
And you know what also, John Smith, he really knew how to engage with referees as well. In a difficult time where captains get it very wrong sometimes, coming very robust, he knew how to deal with the referees as well. So I think really one person that my favorite might be getting the cross next to my name, or next to his name rather, my cross next to his name for my vote.
You talk about Rick's vote is gospel because obviously he's got all sides, so you can't fight his vote.
You voted for again, Rick. Tell us now.
we got to follow your vote, but see, Bismarck du Plessis. I mean, that he had it all. He could fetch, he could carry, could offload. I mean, like you said, when he came on, he made Maracas to the point where they wanted to play tighten it up because they said we need to have Bosmak du Plessis on the rugby field.
And listen, what a beast, bro! Like I think my favorite moment of him was when he tackled Dan Carter.
Dan Carter.
Listen, he smoked him, bro. You know, and that carry at Wales. Oh my goodness, like that guy was.
It's right here.
Do we have it?
It's right here. Don't you worry.
Yo, Cooks, you prepared, eh? Well, you prepared for us.
How's it? Habana as well.
I mean, time for the Welsh hooker, they mismatch.
Hey,
Look there.
Baza did not want to touch him at all.
Offload.
Offload through the tackle.
He's always good at that. Through the tackle, actually. Yeah, you're right. Here we go.
Listen, I think that number 11 was just there so that the coach might say, at least your body was there.
I mean, poor Liam Williams here. I mean, wrong place at the wrong time.
Uses a doorstop, you know.
You're just trying to cross cover.
Yeah.
And then it goes to Bosmak du Plessis.
But do you think he wanted to make that tackle, really? Nah.
You wanted Habana to keep running. And then let's be one-on-one pace-wise.
Oh.
And I really think Bosmak du Plessis sort of inspired the new era of hookers that would see after him. You know, the more, I can do it all. I can fetch, I can carry, I can tackle, I can run, I can be this physical, you know, look very like a loose forward, but I'm a hooker.
Yeah.
You know, I think he sort of like inspired that trend, you know, of hookers that we would see.
And Rob, like, you look at that clip with Bosmak, I love it. He first at the support line. Fantastic.
Yeah, he's reading the play.
Reading the play, receive it, and then he has to run over someone. It's in his contract.
Yeah.
and then he offloads. I mean, it just sums up Bosmak in a nutshell.
Forget about the contract at home. If he's not running over anyone, you go back to Bloemfontein or whatever. He's like, but Bosmak, you didn't run over anyone on the weekend. You didn't really have a great game, did you? Like, you can't say you had a good game if you didn't run over anyone.
No, I mean, he was absolutely fantastic. But the last guy, James Dalton, you know, played the 95 World Cup squad, and probably what I find funny is when I was a kid, he was one of the guys that everyone kind of knew. You know, obviously the ball hair stands out, nickname the bullet, one of the great nicknames in rugby. But like a guy that was as hard as nails, Rix. And you said he put mongrel there, carried hard, and you know, like the box started that physical edge, and he was more than happy to apply for the team, to be the enforcer, even that hooker.
You know what I would love to see? Bosmak du Plessis and James Dalton in a UFC octagon.
Just going.
Just to see who has that most grunt. But yeah, James Dalton, I think he's a hard man. I think we mentioned earlier, it was a pity that he didn't play in that final due to that suspension in against Canada in the 95 World Cup. But we had an interview with James Dalton on our radio show a couple of months ago. He's actually busy with anti-bullying programs and keeping children safe at schools.
Oh,
the man is having an impact after rugby. I think he's now found the balance in his life of the aggressive sort of bullet James Dalton in like he mentions, he alludes to it that he was never a Stoutsean or Demakaarsean. He was just a gruwelike boytjie. He was always looking to unsettle people, and but he's really doing some good work in Cape Town at the moment.
He may have missed the 95, World Cup final against All Blacks, but he did get himself a try against the All Blacks. We can watch here. I mean,
3 years later.
100%, 98. This is a silence full of legends
The
as well.
kid is very big.
How's that crowd?
And Springboks want to try. They'll get such strong resistance. There they go.
Try time.
They've scored the try.
I mean, also they're behind the mall as well.
Yes.
Starting the train early.
Got
Pioneer.
He's so stoked.
What I love is there was no way he was letting that ball go behind him.
No. James saw that line and he said, "I'm bulleting for this line."
No, I mean I'm so glad he got his reward.
Can you hear the roar at the stadium?
Yeah.
Goosebumps, bro.
So I think that's
He's your favorite player as well, Bob Skinstead.
Oh, that's my guy. So this is 98. This is the year we won the Tri Nations for the first time. So the crowd is hungry, expectant.
It's 98.
Again, James
think
Dalton
so.
gets the fundamentals right there, accurate in the line out,
Yeah.
and then relying on that rolling maul, the
Yes.
DNA of our South African pack.
Andrew Merton.
We said that DNA very, very early, but now it's that time of the week, guys. We gotta get our votes. We gotta lock in our votes for the public. Obviously, they're gonna scan the QR code, but before they scan, they need to know where are we going, and most importantly, who's Ricky voting for, so that we can all follow. Juicy?
Hey, gentlemen, this is a really tough one. I've got literally 3 options.
There's 5.
Well, I'm just saying to cast my vote.
So there's two.
my vote.
So there's 2. He just doesn't see.
I am
So 2 of them is like he
I
just
am breaking it
didn't make the
down,
training.
Kaloku.
They're wearing suits in the stands.
Blazer over there.
Players over. They didn't make the.
As I was saying.
Yeah.
So, hey, Malcolm Marx, Bongi, and John Smith. But I'm going to have to choose one, obviously. I'm going to go with John Smith. I think simply because for me, being able to handle the pressure of test match rugby, and also having to sort of like deliver physically and also keep that cool head, not just only for yourself, but for the rest of the team. I just he was, for me, a true servant of the game and the Springboks. I think also when I started obviously watching rugby, it was in his era. So I just even loved the era that he sort of like played in. Yeah, man. I mean, for me, and also as I said, always rely on what you call this thing, people just being reliable. Right, and for me, he's just that guy, And if I want to, as an extra option, as you said, he also played a bit of prop, So if I have an option as well,
Next week we're getting the titles next week.
do you know what I mean? So if I have an option as well, I could take him there, So not just only one position, which is hooker. Outside, obviously, his leadership skills, I think John Smith is the obvious choice for me.
Rick?
Yeah, I'm very conflicted because I've
You also have 3 options. Is it 2 guys also?
no, I've
Well,
narrowed down mine already. So I think because Malcolm, we're going to have Unplugged next year as well, and then we can choose him for next year's dream team. So I'm going to go with Barney, with John Smith. I think he's what I've based my leadership style on as a young rugby player watching him. And I think the other thing that's swaying me as well, because he's my colleague here at Supersport, so he's watching. So that's why I'm going with Barney.
Rob?
Well, I don't want to throw a span in the works, so I'm not going to. I reckon, John Smith, the way he led, who he led, and of course his accolades, a World Cup winner, Tri Nations.
But listen, I'm going to throw a span in the works for you. You got 2 World Cup winning hookers.
So why did you change your vote?
No, I didn't change my vote. I was 100% gonna.
Okay.
2 World Cup winners.
No, John Smith for me. I'm locked in there, John Smith.
I'm going to throw a span in the works.
Go, you good thing.
We can't all agree on the same.
That's what I was
Even though Barney might not speak to me again, I think for me it's Malcolm Marx.
Yeah.
I think Malcolm Marx for me is, you get the likes of, the Bismarcks, you get the likes of, and John Smith, and he's sort of everything you want Hooker to be. He's a bit from he's got the mongrel of James Dalton. He's got the fetching ability and, running ability of a Bismarck Duplessis. He's got the toughest nails, and he's got the line of throwing of a John Smith. So for me, you look at Malcolm Marx, and I think out of all of those guys, I mean, Malcolm has been up for, World Player of the Year. He's made the World Rugby Team of the Year a few times, and not only for me, Jim is the best. Hooker was one of the best, for me, one of the best 5 rugby players in the world at the moment, the form that he's in. So I've got to go with the man from Cairns, and also obviously my Royal. We'll tee it up together. No, just
there it is again. The golf angle.
I've got to stick together. But the guys at home, you guys lock in your votes. Scan the QR code, and maybe I might be right, because it's 3 against 1 now.
Sure.
So my odds are I'm struggling here, but For you guys' sake, don't let me be. Do not let it be Malcolm.
You make me want to change my.
It's locked in.
I don't want to leave you alone.
No,
aside.
I'm happy I am
together.
No. You must only deal with Bismarck and James Dalton. You just put in the stands. But gentlemen, quickly before you wrap, box Italy. It's the first test, first official test
Yes.
of the Springbok campaign. I mean, at Loftus, Rick, you played quite a bit of rugby there at Loftus.
Favorite ground to play at. It's fast. The surface is fast. I think it allows for our kind of play. What we've seen, Cheslin them did the past weekend. So really, altitude is a thing. It is a thing. The air is your throat closes up very quickly. Ball travels a little bit further, but. All we're going to say is, ciao bella, ciao bella, ciao bella, ciao. Good luck. Good luck.
Juicy, last week you told us Gabriele Fassi called you to give us the weather in Cape Town. So how's the weather this week here in Twitter? Who's called you this week? Because the people want to know. Because clearly we use the box as, we watch them, they give us hope. You use them as weathermen.
Well, interestingly enough, right? I was in the car before I came in.
Of course.
And I tried to call. I tried to make a call. But this time around, the message came back. I cannot talk to you right now. I was like, okay, we're busy. So I haven't gotten the weather conditions yet, but I'll get them.
Was it Fassi?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So keep us updated.
Fassi is my weatherman,
Okay.
If I want the weather update, I go to him. If I don't go to church, I also go to him as well. Interestingly enough, as well, we were speaking about Loftus, right? Ulrich has, wonderful memories there. I had the West, you understand? But that's where also, interestingly enough, fun fact, that's where the name Juicy J came from. Loftus.
How?
Yeah? So, as I said, I was losing, do you guys remember the bubble?
COVID.
Varsity Cup, where there was no fans and everything. So we played in different fields. Some games were at Loftus, some were obviously at Dix, right? So we're playing Marty's, right? And we are losing. And I think the scoreboard was like 40-something nil in the second half. So I'm coming on off the bench, me and my boy Flash, right? Okay. So coming on off the bench, right, and we have this great passage of play, right? Interchange with the forwards at the corner there. My hook at the time passes the ball to me. Last minute, no looker pass under pressure. Che, understand? Flash scores the try. But the commentator now actually went to use my nickname that I wrote on the player profile, which is Juicy J. So he's like, Juicy J with the final pass. And then from there, it went on to social media. Now my friends have been calling me Juicy J, Juicy J. Also on Twitter, hey, like, Juicy J, what's happening, So that's where the name Juicy J got born.
I love it. Juicy J with the final pass at Loftus. Juicy J. Rob, it's your first time going to Loftus, eh?
First test at Loftus, yeah. I went for a Currie Cup game. Had a lot of fun. It's good fun. Apparently, it gets a lot more fun when the box plays. So I'm very excited, John.
No, it's a tough weekend to be a Branas, as I would say. Loftus is special, but it's not only the box are playing. The Springbok Women's are also playing. So it's going to be a fun day out for the people. You want to get the early experience. And watch Springbok Women support them. They are also in the World Cup charge later this year in England. But guys, we all said for the weekend, people already watch Italy. Next weekend, it's the tight heads. So now we're really getting to dance from. So, who's keen? If we leave on Thursday and we can still get back the ball game on Friday. So on Saturday, so we'll dance from for masterclass.
Well, I've got the attire. Don't I look ready for the occasion?
Yes.
I'm ready. But tight heads. There can only be one, eh? Frans Malherbe.
You can't now.
No, come on.
No, he must be on the list.
I love. So Rick, we'll just zoom in, Rick, because now he's already put France on the list. He's voted for France. This is why Ricky misses the captain's practice because now he's one step ahead of us all. But guys, what a time! What a show! That's the hookers. So for you guys at home, enjoy the Springboks take on Italy this week. Watch Malcolm Marx. I'm sure Bongi will be there as well. So the hookers are in the mix to be in the dream team. But we'll see you next week as we discuss the tight heads and enjoy the rest of your week.